as we know, Gypsy Rose Blanchard was convicted of second-degree murder when she accepted a plea deal in the murder of her mother, Dee Dee Blanchard. She then proceeded to profit from those crimes and even wrote a book. Now, recently, she re-released My Time to Stand with a prologue, a new addition to the book, a new prologue where she was going to discuss her feelings of Nick, among other things such as fame. But there's so many lies, and I'm calling them out one at a time. Let's get into it.
My time to stumble. It's my time now.
Of all the things to lie about and get wrong in a book that you're making money off, you would think count times wouldn't be a big deal. You were locked up for 8.5 years, Gypsy. You should know what time count is, right? That's why this should be classified as a work of fiction. And it reads, 2 years ago, while in prison, I dropped whatever I was doing at 2 o'clock sharp. If I was mopping during my janitorial duties, I'd put the mop back in the bucket. On the phone with Christy, I'd hang up. I'd turn the TV off for a few minutes early, knowing I had to be standing by my cell waiting to be counted. Now, obviously, I've never lived in Missouri, so I've never been in Chillicothe, but this person has, and they said I was in Chillicothe prison at the same time as her, and we didn't have count at 2 p.m. We had count at noon, 5 p.m., 9 p.m., and 5 a.m. And then I remembered something. When I first started covering a Gypsy Rose Blanchard, her first ebook, the one that flopped, that's what I was going through and reading on my lives. And if anyone has read this book, there's a lot of repeat information from Released and My Time to Stand. Well, what do you know? In Release, she put her entire prison schedule. Let's go through it. And for anybody that was in Chillicothe, please confirm if this schedule is correct or is this just more lies? 7:30 a.m. count time. We sit up in our bunks and turn the lights on. COs account for all the inmates. This takes about 15 to 20 minutes, after which I go back to sleep. I don't like getting up that early. 7:30. 10:30 a.m., Gypsy would get down from her top bunk, click on the TV, make a cup of instant coffee, and then she would call Ryan, go back to her room, look at her locker, pick from canteen items, make mac and cheese or some other processed packaged food like ramen noodles, and then go back to the day room. 10:30. 1:30 to 3 p.m., we have recreation time. Not count time. She said she liked to work out on the elliptical machine for about an hour, come back to the housing unit, shower, and by the time I'm out and dressed, it's around 3 p.m. Elliptical in prison? My, oh my. 3 p.m., Gypsy would go to her in-prison job where she was working as a custodian. So she would take out the trash, sweep, mop, change toilet paper rolls, and so on. 20 minutes. 4:30, we have count time again. We return to our rooms and sit on our bunks until the COs finish. Between 5 and 7, Gypsy would talk with Ryan, hear about his day, and tell him about hers. He checks my social media accounts for me, Facebook, Insta, TikTok, and Twitter. Since I don't have access to the internet, I read to him what I'd like to post, and he types it verbatim. Is that even allowed? I know it shouldn't be allowed for obvious reasons. At 8 p.m., Gypsy would get a little antsy about her responses on social media. So she would call Ryan back to see if anyone liked her post or shared it. Talk about obsessed with social media. But really, she just loved talking to Ryan's voice. And then they would sync up their movies on his device and hers so they could have a date night. Such a tech-savvy Miss Blanchard is, don't let her fool ya. The last entry is count time at 10 p.m., time for bed. Gypsy claims she would go to her room and click on her TV and watch it for a little bit. This count time is different than the morning and afternoon counts. Here we are off our bunks, standing by our door with our ID in our hands so the COs can easily see our picture and our names. After the walk by and we go back to our bunks, we go to sleep. Are you guys catching what I'm putting down yet? Gypsy's book is a book of lies. It's a work of fiction, and you guys are eating it up with 2 spoons. Now, I haven't listened to the audiobook in a while, and I surely didn't buy the thing. I'm not paying $30 for Gypsy's book. Does Gypsy give a breakdown of the prison schedule in My Time to Stand? And is it identical to the one in Release? Because that doesn't make sense with what she's put in the prologue. I'm going to pretend to be confused and just let you guys know again that I don't like liars. I guess the truth just doesn't matter anymore. Who wrote this prologue? Was it Gypsy? Was it Melissa? Was it Michelle? Leave your comments and thoughts below. Oh, and in case you were wondering, Michelle and Melissa also helped to co author that first book. So it seems being consistent and telling the truth is just not a priority for Michelle, Gypsy, or the Happy Face Killer's daughter, Melissa Moore.